Hey guys, and welcome back to Cultured Boys, a show where two guys just want to have a chat. I'm Nathan, and I'm joined by Pepe as always. And this week, we're going to talk about Stranger Things Season 4. How you doing, Peps?
I'm very good, Nathan. I'm very good. I'm ready to talk about what, arguably for me, which is probably one of the best seasons of Stranger Things, like in its entirety. And the memes that have come from this, you know, your boy loves the memes. I don't know if you've seen the Gregory brothers, Shmo Yoho. You know, the guys that did
I
the
actually haven't.
They did basically. It's gone kind of viral on TikTok right now. But the first episode of season 4 where
Yeah.
Eddie discovers Chrissy's like in the upside down kind of
Yeah.
thing. Well, he doesn't know that at the time, but he's like, Chrissy, wake up. And like the Gregory brothers have auto-tuned it.
Oh.
So it's like, Chrissy, wake up. I don't like this. And like, it's an amazing song. Like, obviously, I'm straight off the bat like talking about this because it is like my favorite thing right now. The song's on Spotify and it's been on my on repeat playlist as well. So I have been looping
Jeez.
this thing. It's really good. I'll check it out. I might send it to you afterwards. But yeah,
I'll have to check it out afterwards.
jumping
but
straight into that. Yes.
So, it needs to be said, there will be probably spoilers.
Absolutely.
We're just going to be talking about the whole season, things we liked, things we didn't like. But in general, we figured you've had enough time,
Yeah.
right? About a week and a half, almost 2 weeks, or whatever. Like, rule of thumb is that's about enough time.
I mean,
for spoilers.
like, I was just checking, like, Netflix's socials actually posted, like, one of the biggest ending bits. So I think if Netflix themselves are posting these scenes from the final episode, we're good to talk about this.
Yeah.
But yeah, where do we even start with this?
I don't know, but I will. I guess just because it's also relevant, because it literally happened like yesterday or the day before.
Yeah.
Noah Schnapp, the actor who plays Will, confirmed that Will is in love with Mike.
Oh, okay, he actually confirmed it. Okay.
Yeah, he apparently he's confirmed
Yeah.
that his character Will is gay and is in love with Mike.
Okay,
Makes
yeah.
a lot of sense if you've seen the season, to be fair. 'Cause
Yeah.
he's been acting weird.
It's kind of like it's this thing that is kind of like it's everyone knows it, but it's unspoken.
Yeah,
It's
and you
like
don't want to like assume,
yeah,
but it's kind of like
it's
it's there.
Yeah, no one mentions it, but like it's there. Like it's cool that they're going in that direction with the character though. I think it's cool that like they got that.
Yeah.
Obviously, like I'm interested to see how that plays out in the final season as well. With that,
That'll be awkward.
yeah, I mean, especially like God, I feel like there's got to be like a lot of there's gonna be a lot of loose ends tied up with that kind of thing because obviously you got Jonathan and Nancy as well, who
Yeah,
are on the rocks. Like Nancy's like secretly in love with Steve by the looks of
and
it.
Steve is still in love with Nancy and has always
Yeah.
been. So like,
So it's kind of like they're like Jonathan and Nancy kind of on the rocks at the moment. So it kind of looks like they're going towards Steve and Nancy, but like it's hard to tell right now. It's so hard to tell like what's gonna
I
happen.
know, and there's a lot in this season as well. But like, I was seeing online like after it came out that people were like, "Oh, this is the best season we've had in a while. It's like a return to form." So I guess people didn't like season 2 and 3.
Well, this is the thing. Like, I like looking back on Stranger Things as a whole. I don't think any season's actually been that bad.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I think I've loved every season that's come out, but obviously there's highs and lows.
Yeah.
I don't think I thought season 3 was great. I thought it was the best one of it, like up until 4. I actually really loved season 3.
I mean, season 3 hurts because you
Yeah.
know Billy in it.
Yeah, but Alexi, like, I was like, my guy.
Yeah.
I remember when Alexi got shot. I was like, bro, not my Russian boy.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, Alexi, Billy. Yeah, those are like some good characters we lost. I mean, I feel like Billy could have done with a bit more character development. Because there were some bits in season 2 where he was there doing bits. In season 3, he literally just got killed and was made the villain. But I feel like could have been some
Yeah.
more character development for Billy. I mean, yeah, it's tragic how he died and stuff, and he had like his little redemption at the end. But like, I don't know, I feel
But
they could have
then,
done more with him.
Or they could have, but then it all sort of plays into this season as well.
Yes,
That he didn't have all that character development.
Yeah,
You know, like that's another thing though. Like this whole Max storyline for this season, she's got it rough, bro.
I mean, honestly, like they gave her some sick storyline though. That's the thing, because in season 2 and 3, like she's had a storyline, but she's never been at the front. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and she didn't really do much.
But like, yeah, this one, like they came through, and the story for Max is absolutely unreal. Like they've really come through with that.
Oh man, she again, like I said, she had it rough.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the aftermath of losing Billy and then coming to terms with how she really felt.
Yeah.
And then the fact that she's like being hunted by Vecna or Henry or Number One or whatever. Like, that's also a running joke, but you know.
Yeah. Like that's the one thing. Like, yeah, she has had it really rough this season, but like it really does showcase is it Sadie Sink, the actor of Max?
Yeah, Sadie
like
Sink.
really just showcase her acting like that, like phenomenal. Like, I think all of them are like really well acted. I don't think there's any bad performances at all.
Nah, they killed it this season. Like I feel the performances were like so good. Although I feel sorry for Steve because just dude gets beat up every season. He doesn't get to do a whole lot except for complain and then get his ass kicked.
I mean, but he's still one of the most iconic characters in the series. I mean, that's the one thing you can always count on from a Stranger Things season. Like obviously his character development has been the best throughout the whole. The whole thing, in my opinion, because obviously in season 1 he started off as the bully. He was an asshole, and then he comes through like in season 2. Like he comes through at the end of season 1, and you're sick. Season 2 gets even better. Season 3, like him and Dustin's like relationship is like just top tier.
Bro, that bromance is just
throughout the whole
level.
thing. That is incredible. And like they brought that back like with this season as well. But then obviously you had Eddie and Dustin as well, which were like that was also a very iconic duo. There's so like Dustin himself is a character that is amazing. But yeah, him and Steve, man, like I've loved Steve. Has always been one of my favorite characters in the whole series.
Steve's my boy.
Yeah, man. Oh, he's great. Yeah, like you said, he's had it a bit rough. Like he gets attacked every season. I think they do that on purpose though, because I think they actively know that Steve is such a well-loved character. Like by putting him in danger, it's like, don't you kill the boy? Don't you fucking kill him? He's like my favorite. Like people go nuts. If they actually did kill Steve, I think everyone would be like, nah, fuck this.
Yeah, up in arms, man.
Yeah.
Up in arms. At least he gets like he got a small redemption this season though, because you know when they go into the Upside Down, spoilers.
Yeah.
And then he's getting attacked by the bats.
Yes.
And then he just goes like full on like fucking rage, and he just starts smashing it about like Broly, like or like the whole he's just smashing this thing about because it's biting him, and then they're all just like staring at him like, what the fuck?
Oh man, absolutely. Yeah, he's just been sick like this whole thing, like just coming through. I mean, there's like certain bits with Steve, like his story. Like I think, obviously they had to do the whole Eddie and Dustin thing at the end. We'll talk about Eddie in a bit because I feel like we have to talk about Eddie.
Oh, dude, we're definitely gonna talk about Eddie,
but like I think obviously like for the final episode where Steve, Nancy, and Robin come through, like and try and like take down Vecna, like while he's trying to take down Max. There was certain bits with that where I found a bit like, is this as believable? Because like obviously they go into the house, try and avoid the vines or whatever, and then they get caught up. They're like the three of them are kind of like on death's door. Then 11, meanwhile, while 11's saving Max, 11 kind of like puts a stop to Vecna, like at the time being. And then the three of them come through and take down Vecna, like pushing through the window and stuff. My only gripe with that, right, is that Vecna has shown that he has powers and he can use them whenever. Meanwhile, these three teenagers come in to the attic, shoot him with shotguns and Molotovs, and he's like, no, I can't take him down. Realistically, Vecna would 100% be able to take those guys down. Right?
Normally, but it's the Molotovs, because everything in the Upside Down is weak to fire.
Yeah, but
it doesn't like fire, and they threw fire at him, so he's on fire. He's weaker now.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
But the main point I have is just before then, is that realistically, with that passage of time, the three of them would have been dead.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they are being choked, right, by Vecna's
Mm.
like tentacle things, and they're being pinned to the wall,
Yeah.
and they look like they are losing breath really fast. They would have been dead way before they could even do any of
In a
that.
matter of seconds. Honestly, they'd be gone in a matter of
Yeah.
seconds. And right then, it turned into like fucking Dragon Ball Z, like Namek time, where it was like
Yeah.
5 minutes. 5 minutes turned into like half hour. This is like, yeah, they survived way longer than I feel like they should have.
Yeah, exactly. And like, if you look at the timeline, everyone else is doing so much stuff in that time, and all they're doing is being choked
Yeah.
by these like thick ass fucking tentacles. You'd be dead, dude.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have the chance to come back, pick up your shotgun and your
Yeah.
fucking axe and whatever and all that, and make Molotovs and then head up and kick Vecna's ass. Like you're gone.
It's a bit of a stretch. Yeah, a lot of it is quite.
That's the thing. Like, there were so many little things that I'm like, that's a bit.
I think there are certain things. I think there's a bit about Henry's story as well, which had like, honestly, like I absolutely love the twist of Henry being
dude,
Vecna
that has
one.
been such a good twist. Yeah, and like how it all sort of links back to like Hawkins' like history.
I will say this is like I was saying this to you earlier, Nathan, that I have two favorite episodes of this season.
Yes.
Number 5, episode 5, which is Dear Billy. I think it's episode 5, might be episode 4. Like either one. I think
episode 4, Dear Billy.
Oh, it's episode 4, Dear Billy. Yeah, Dear Billy is what my first favorite because one, it has that epic like ending to it. You know where Max is about to be like, killed by Vecna, but then like they come through, put the Kate Bush on, and like she has a flashback, and then like she kicks him, and then she starts running, but he's like throwing all sorts of shit at her while she's running, and then there's the flashbacks and. Literally, I was glued to the TV. I was watching like, oh my god, is she gonna survive? There's certain bits where, like, you see in the montage, you see in the flashback, and that feels like, oh my god, they could easily kill her right now. If they go kill her, it's this point. And she's running, and it's like all sorts, and the Kate Bush is going on, and man, that fucking scene is unreal. Honestly, like a 10 out of 10 for that. That is like honestly, like that episode top tier. My next.
Well, plus, that's like, sorry. Before we get to the next episode 4 is also where they talk to Victor, and all that is just creepy as fuck.
Oh god, because that's the guy that plays freaking Freddy Krueger as well.
Yeah, I mean that's what I've been told. I don't know. I've never seen the films.
I mean, no, I've never seen the films either, but it's quite. I love seeing the memes of the irony that what was it? Vecna's haunting Victor's dreams. Whereas Freddy Krueger is known for killing
dreams.
Yeah. I see. Yeah, like, I feel like it's great casting. Honestly, it's great casting.
Oh yeah,
there. And I feel like they should be like. I think they knew the irony of it while casting. 100%.
But yeah, episode 4, solid one.
Absolutely, like that. That was that one, and like going on to the whole Vecna thing. Episode 7, which was the end of Volume 1, which was basically the explanation behind Henry 1 Vecna, like that whole detail of like
that episode,
that like that's where the twist came through, that it's like, oh, it's number 1 is Vecna, number 1 is Henry, and all of it just linking together was such a freaking good twist. And it's the switch up as well. What was it, the actor's name, Jamie. Like I love how literally just by sweeping his hair back and a facial expression, he went from the guy that's like, "Hey, I'm gonna help," like slightly creepy, to actually major psychopath. Literally the acting.
Yeah, but
there,
that's like anime shit, innit?
Yeah,
like do something to the hair, something happens. It's like Gohan, innit?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, it's ultimate because the bang is down.
Yeah, or it's like Aizen, where it's like, his hair, takes the glasses off, switches his hair back. He's bad now.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
someone on the team watches too much anime.
But honestly, like, that guy's acting is superb. Like, love that. Like, I think he's done, like, he's come out like absolutely.
Yeah, like it's that whole reveal. Especially like when you're binge watching and when you're not, like, maybe not fully paying attention because you don't expect him to be anything really.
Yeah,
because like when you first introduced to him, he's just like another like orderly.
Yeah,
and he just sort of talks, and you're like, oh, okay, maybe just because they're in that environment, he's got
Yeah.
lines. He might not be like a super important character.
It's like it kind of
And
felt like what was it like? It could have easily just been a figment of like Elle's imagination as well.
yeah, exactly. Or someone they like
Mm.
faked to put in there to guide her or
Yeah,
whatever. You know what I mean? Like you
exactly.
have no idea. He might not really actually be that important. But then it turns out like he is the big bad. Like he's the major force behind it all.
Like they frame it literally like Papa's the bad guy, and he's
Yeah.
like he's the one that's like keep him captive, and like Henry's the one that's actually trying to help him all. And he's like, oh okay, I'll help you all right. I help you
And that
escape or
plays out
whatever.
like almost the entire season. The whole time you're led to believe that like Papa's raised these like little demons and
Yeah.
11 is like murdered them all.
Yeah, and like Henry just frames himself as this guy that's a savior. Oh, I can help you out. That what Papa's doing is wrong. Let's like escape together. Then he obviously fucking 11 frees him, basically unleashes his fucking demon himself, like the biggest bad ever. And then it's like, yeah, oh, it's it's bad. But no, he's such a fucking sick actor, and the twist is incredible. Like, and
Oh man, that twist like still gets me.
I didn't realize this, but apparently, you know, when Vecna's first like revealed in like the early stages of the season, was it his name? What was it? Jamie Campbell Bower. He is like actually credited as Vecna in
Oh.
like the first few episodes, and if you knew who that was, if you check the credits and realize Vecna's played by this person, and you know who Jamie is, it's kind of a spoiler for the final episode when you see that he comes through and plays Henry, like the one that, like in the early stages. You're like, oh, okay then. So that's Vecna. It kind of spoils the whole season at that point, but you have to know who the actor is to actually
Okay, well,
get that.
at least though, for most, and I feel like this is safe to say, right? Most people, by the time you get to the credits, you're not paying attention.
Honestly, that is the thing, because I didn't realize that. And when you're watching this thing like Stranger Things, you want to just be like, okay, cool, I want to go to the next episode. I don't care about the credits. I want to go
Well,
to the
yeah,
next
that too. If you're
Cool.
binge watching on Netflix, like
Yeah.
normally a thing comes up like next episode, and then like that thing shoots through, and like you're on the next episode before like the credits have probably gotten like 10% of the way through.
Yeah, and like this ain't no Marvel stuff. This ain't no like end like end credit scene either. You're literally just going on to the next thing. You're not waiting around for those credits to play out. But no, yeah, that whole twist got me. So those two episodes, Dear Billy and the Massacre at Hawkins Lab, is like those two episodes like top tier, which is kind of why I feel volume 2 was good, but I was so hyped from episode 7, the final episode of volume 1, that I don't think those two episodes matched up completely to that. And so I felt like, even though I loved volume 2, I don't think I enjoyed it as much as the end of volume 1.
Okay. Do you think though, if they had split it differently, that you might have enjoyed volume 2 more? Like let's say they didn't put any of the twist in volume 1.
Yeah.
Right? So you're still led, let's say it ended at episode 6. So it's still led to believe
Oh, okay, yeah.
all the other stuff. And then the volume 2 is the twist of episode 7, 8 and 9. Like, and it's all just twist conclusion. Do you think you would have preferred it then?
I tell you what, like it's obviously adding and subtracting, because obviously that's the thing. Episode 7 like ended so well, and that's what gets you hyped for volume 2.
Yeah.
Obviously take that away and you have a not as good volume 1. And realistically, I think I might have been a bit more. I wouldn't have had the hype for volume 2 though, as high as it was, if we took that episode away.
Fair.
I would still be excited to do it, because I've kind of like took a whole weekend to binge watch volume 1 when it came out. And I was like, it's really tough. It's a really tough question, that, because I do think if episode 7 was in volume 2, I probably would have been a lot more hype. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
It would have been an amazing start to Volume 2. Because Volume 2 as well, it has 2 episodes in it. The second one is much better than the first one. The first one is a lot of setup. And episode 9, the second episode, a 2-hour long episode.
Yeah, I was gonna say though, like the last 2 episodes are basically 2 movies.
Yeah.
So in itself, you have to like that's a time commitment. But
It really is. I mean, the whole series is a time commitment. Every episode ended up being like about over an hour at times. Not that I hate that. I absolutely loved it.
yeah, I love that. But like, God, considering next season is the last one,
Yeah.
dude, we're gonna be sitting around for like a week.
It's just gonna be 24 hours of Stranger Things.
It's literally like we're gonna have to spend an entire week, not because it's like we want to, just because that's how long each episode.
Yeah, you're binging a whole week worth of it, and you're not stopping. Oh, but yeah. In answer to your question, it's a tough decision, but I think I would be more hyped for season 2. Like the hype would still be there. Watching Volume 2, I wouldn't be as hyped to like in preparation for it, but while it was out,
that makes sense.
Yeah,
I can see why they did it, like you said, because 7 was such a good episode. Like you have to have an end like that so that you come back
absolutely
to watch the 2 films that are episode 8 and 9.
I think I'm interested to hear what the real strategy is behind it, because I think like that's one conclusion we can come to, because they knew episode 7 was so good that they put the break in there, and that builds the hype even more. Because I remember talking to my barber at one point, and he was saying that at one point that his kid didn't want to go into school on the Friday, and he was like, "Why do you want to go into school? It's like a sports day." He's like, "Oh, none of the other kids are going in." And he's like, "Why aren't the other kids going in?" Because they're all trying to stay home and watch Stranger Things. And that is so bizarre to me, that a whole bunch of kids aren't going to school because they want to watch the fucking Volume 2 of Stranger Things, which is like, I mean, can you get away with that? Is that a thing you can do?
I mean, no, but those kids are also kind of smart because of all the days.
Yeah. It's a Friday.
It's also sports day. Yeah, it's a Friday and sports day, so it's kind of like, well, it's lower stakes. We're not learning anything.
Literally.
Well, yeah, because like you're not learning anything. You're going to compete against each other for nothing. So it's kind of like, well, if we don't turn up today,
what like we live in a bizarre world that people try and skip school to watch Stranger Things. It's like, it's bizarre to me, but I also like kind of vibe with it.
I mean, like, I vibe with it, but you're right, because it's Netflix, so
yeah,
as long as you have the subscription, you can watch it whenever. You don't have to watch it.
That shit came out like, what was it, like 4:00 in the morning in the UK or something like that for us?
I think so, yeah. I remember seeing tweets about it, like Netflix official account on Twitter being like, it doesn't come out this time, it comes out this time. You can all go to bed.
Bro, honestly, like, this is the one thing as well. I remember on that day, I was like, this is like before I watched Volume 2, because it's the launch day, and Netflix are doing promo of it, and they put up a picture of Steve and Eddie in like a sepia thing, so like it's like black and white picture, and like they said, see Volume 2 out now, ... no other caption on it, no other relation, and I was so tempted to click on the comments for that. And it's day 1, right? And like, you think no one's gonna spoil this shit. I stopped myself.
Yes, they would.
I stopped myself clicking on that comment, and I'm so glad I did, because for a fact, even after I watched that episode, the finished Volume 2 that night after work, I went back to that picture, clicked on the comment section, and brother, spoilers! People do not give a fuck. They do not give a fuck. The
internet don't. The internet literally don't. That's why, if you care about anything and you don't want to know, you have to. That's why people block words on socials and stuff. Like, every time I talk to people about some sort of franchise or something, like, oh, this thing's coming out and it's connected to all this, they're like, yeah, I just block the words.
Yeah,
I just block stuff on like Twitter and whatever, so it doesn't come up.
It's probably the best way to do it. Like, for the fact that when Marvel films come out, they always do like a little promo video with the actors saying, "Hey, don't spoil it for anyone that hasn't seen it." I guess movies are different, right? Because Netflix is pretty much accessible to everyone, like in your house. You have to make an effort to go to the cinema to see these movies, so it's a little bit different.
all media is just, for some reason, the internet thinks it's free reign.
Yeah.
So, like, I guess this is mini PSA as well. Like, but just if you care, just don't click on things, right? You're always gonna end up seeing something you don't want.
Yeah.
That's why when Stranger Things was coming out, I didn't click on anything.
Yeah.
I would just sort of quickly skim headlines that would appear on my feed.
Yeah.
And then that was it. If I saw words that I thought were too sketchy in the headlines, I just scroll past.
Yeah. Honestly, I was not looking at the internet those 2 days, like that Volume 1 released and Volume 2 released. I was not looking at any comment section at all in like anything. I was like, I need to just focus on watching this stuff. I'm not going to look at anything because I know how bad the internet is, man. So bad. But
see, the funny thing is, the only time social media helped me was I forgot when this season, like Volume 1, actually came out.
Yeah.
I happened to go on Instagram and click on your story and see you post the picture, like, oh, here it is. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I quickly ran upstairs, turned on my TV, went on Netflix and was like, Stranger Things.
That's it, man. I tell you what, this is the one thing about Stranger Things as well. Because I remember when season 1 first came out, it's like, it wasn't a big thing, obviously. They just like, it was, this Netflix original series. And there was certain groups of people who were just like, hey, have you seen this thing called Stranger Things? It's really good. And it wasn't as big as it is now, obviously. So it was very low key. And then suddenly, over time, season 2, season 3, season 4, like, it is absolutely one of the biggest media like franchises like in the world right now. I guess franchise as well, I don't know. But yeah, it's so freaking new. Like the merch you can buy for it, you go into any store now and you'll find some Stranger Things related shit.
Well, if you don't find Stranger Things related shit, you'll see someone who's copycatting that font.
Literally, mate, the fucking Hellfire t-shirts. Have you seen them? Like,
no, I haven't.
Well, that's the thing. Like, everyone's desperate to get Hellfire t-shirts, like Hellfire Club, and I think they actually sold out in Primark. Like, there was like this thing, like, oh, Primark have sold out of all the Hellfire t-shirts just because like Stranger Things is that hype. Meanwhile, Primark isn't the only place selling these t-shirts. So elsewhere, like about 20, 30 other stores have got these Hellfire t-shirts ready to go. Like Zavvy's got them. Like you can go into fucking H&M at this point. I feel like they'll have them.
You'll probably be able to find that all over the place.
100%.
Imagine as soon as Volume 1 dropped, all the merchandisers saw that and was like, get on that right now.
Yeah.
Someone print that right now.
Literally, like, I think Primark's the only one that sold out because it's fucking, 1, it's Primark, and 2, it's like the cheapest shit. Like, oh, I want a cheap Hellfire t-shirt, get it from there.
It's probably not even cheaper than anywhere else, to be honest.
Yeah, no, like, the quality will probably be cheaper.
yeah, I mean, it's Primark, but I guess this is the best segue in with Hellfire into the best addition to this season.
Honestly, man, this guy, he is like, I think he's one of those characters that has made the season for so many people. It's fucking made Joseph Quinn's career go fucking ape shit right now. Like this man is surprised? Like gone from one of the least known people in the world to like probably the most talked about guy right now.
Well, yeah, it's because his performance was really good, and also like throughout the season, there's so many facets of the character. You see so many different sides of him that you're like, well, how do you not end up liking this character?
Like, honestly, from his intro, it's just like, it starts off, you're like, oh my god, this guy's absolutely nuts. And then the more you see of him, the more it's like, okay, this guy's...
Yeah. But again, that's because like the first time you see him, right, he's this guy who's super confident in himself and he's sticking out on purpose. Like he's standing on the lunch table, screaming shit at people, like picking like minor fights almost, because he's like screaming shit at the jocks and he's also just making them feel weird. And then like the Chrissy thing happens and he's like scared shitless and he fucking bolts. It feels like every time you see Eddie, there's like a new layer to him, which makes him a great character, right? Whereas like, for example, another new character, Argyle, one note. So he starts off great, but he gets really annoying towards the end because you're like, I know exactly what he's about. He's just a fucking stoner. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, fair play to Argyle though. I think like as a character, like he kind of has a little bit of like he brings the comedic value into series that are more serious and like sort of tones that are more serious. I think he's an alright character for what it is. But
no, he's an alright character. But like, if you compare the two, like both new characters in this season, like Argyle, you just you get what he's about, and he doesn't change from that. So you sort of get tired of him, whereas Eddie like is constantly showing you a real person. He's not like a caricature of something.
You do see the contrast of Argyle and Eddie when they find out about the upside down and stuff, because Eddie is literally like how anyone else would react if they found out this shit existed. He's shit scared. Like if anyone like normal saw like this girl float up into the air, her eyeballs get crushed, her limbs are going all contorted and stuff, you would
limbs
fucking
are like snapping the opposite way. Yeah, like
you'd be like, what the fuck? He had like a genuine reaction to that, and I think like a lot of people connect to him as well because like I feel like obviously he's the outsider as well. Like he's not the popular kid in school. He's a little bit like he's out there. He's so like strange, but he's really relatable at the same time.
He's relatable because he knows what he likes and he doesn't care.
Yeah,
and I think that's because everybody wishes they could be the same. Like this is what I like. I don't give a crap what you think. And then, jump on the lunch table and start screaming shit at people.
Yeah, the characters, like, I think there's like, the intro for the character and the way like his relationship with the other characters in the series as well is like so many good like interactions as well for that whole thing. But yeah, man, like, which obviously brings us as well to even though he was like arguably one of the best characters in the series.
I didn't want to. Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
I mean,
I didn't want to remember.
No one wants to remember. Like, no one's ready to let go, right? This is the thing. Like, you'll find on any Stranger Things page, whether it be on TikTok, Instagram, wherever, like people are not.
Wait, before you say it, one more time.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Like we said at the start of the episode, like if you can't get angry at this point.
We have warned you. Okay, we've warned you several times. But spoilers. Okay, now you can continue.
Yeah, so everyone's not ready to let go right now. Eddie is gone. Eddie's dead. He got, and no one wanted it to happen. Everyone's like, no, like the favorite character of the whole series, the one that everyone's connected with. He dead. They killed him. And
at least he went out in a blaze of glory. That fucking like guitar scene.
Yeah,
God dang. That was cool.
That's the one thing. I remember when the trailer for Volume 2... I remember when the trailer for Volume 2 came out. Everyone was sort of like... There was that little one, like, short 3-second clip of Eddie, like, playing the guitar, like, absolutely just riffing and stuff. And everyone's like, oh my god, if like he looks so epic, but if he dies... I was like, oh right. And then he did fucking die. And it's just like... It is so sad. And, like... Yeah, bro.
Mate, it's like,
what can you say?
It was already sad when Dustin was there, and then when Dustin has to tell his uncle, oh, mate, that's
the scene that Netflix put out yesterday on their socials, where Dustin
that tore me apart, dude. Like, especially because like his uncle is like this like stoic dude, like. And then all of a sudden his uncle just sort of breaks down, but not completely. He just sits there quietly, like sobbing. Yeah. And you're just like, oh man.
It's so sad that like obviously Eddie's died a hero basically.
But no one else knows.
No one else knows. That's the saddest thing about it, because one, he's such an iconic character. Two, he's not going to be known as like the hero. He's going to be known as a villain. Like you still see people. Like, because obviously his uncle's put up like missing pamphlets and stuff, but everyone's like drawing on it saying like Satan worshiper, all that sort of stuff. He tears that down, puts a new one up, and it's like, man, oh, it's so sad. But this is the thing that's come out from it though. Like, obviously, I still think that it's people grieving for Eddie because they're not ready to let go of him. Now, what we're seeing a lot more of is theories of how Eddie can come back, and there are quite a fair few of them. To be fair, I don't know if you've seen many
I've
of
not
these.
seen any of these.
So
But go ahead.
So the major one that I've seen that's been circulating about is the fact that so in D&D, Vecna has like an underling that he creates. It's a vampire knight called Cass. And
Okay.
but Cass actually turns sides and fights Vecna. And
Okay, I see where this is
you
going.
see where Eddie got killed by bats. He also has a bat tattoo as well.
Yep. And his fucking
Yeah.
guitar is sort of looked like bat-ish.
Yeah. So what people's theory is that I'm like skeptical as hell about any theory for any show. I literally see it when I believe it when I see it. But everyone's theory right now is that Eddie can come back as Cass and fight Vecna. That's what, and it's D&D related as well. So there's these theories that he can come back for that. I'm just like, it would be cool, but I don't know if it'll work like that. You know, it's just,
it could work, but I feel like then it underplays season 4.
Absolutely, that's the thing. Like, it kind of feels like if they do bring him back, it's more like, oh, we're bringing him back for the fans because the fans want him back. Because I don't think they've even finished writing season 5, have they?
I don't know, but I mean, like, personally, I feel like if Eddie came back, it'd be like flashbacks, or like it'd be like Billy in this season.
That's what I
is
think.
Vecna fucking with people? I don't feel like, at least right now, it'd be right to do that. Like, bring him back, even if it's D&D, even if it relates to the franchise. Like, I feel like it doesn't feel right because it really will underplay the emotional attachment that you had to this character.
100%,
And anyone who hasn't seen it before, if you binge watch all the way from, let's say, 1 to 5 when it comes out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you watch season 4, you're like, oh man, Eddie. And then once you get to season 5, you'll be like, why the fuck did I care then?
Yeah.
It'd be cool. And don't get me wrong, like that moment if that was the theory, right? If that theory came out to be true and then that played out, yeah, it'd be cool. But then I feel like that's what most people be like, is like, wait a second, then why did we care? If he was going to be there the whole time, why did we care?
This is the one thing as well, like what you were saying about binge watching from, like, if you've never seen it before. Here's the thing with Hopper as well. At the end of season 3, it was absolutely gutting because Hopper was supposed to be dead. He was like supposed to be caught up in the like explosion thing.
Yeah.
But obviously the thing is, like, the trailer came out for season 4 and they revealed he's alive. And so it kind of made that whole last moment redundant, and the whole bit where everyone's feeling is like, it's cool he's back, don't get me wrong, because he's been like the difference between Eddie and Hopper is that Hopper's been in the season since the start, and
and he's got more like relations to all the characters.
Like, just like they're apples and oranges at the end of the day with Eddie and Hopper, because like, and this is one thing as well, like one of my friends was saying that, like, because his fiance is started watching Stranger Things, and she was like, oh, like Hopper's dead, but then she also saw a thumbnail for season 4, one of the episodes, and she saw him in a boiler suit in the thing, and she's like, well, he's not really dead then, is he? He comes back. And so it makes the whole season 3 ending redundant if you just look at one of the thumbnails.
And see, that's what I'm saying, like, if you do that with Eddie, it's just repeating that, then you won't care. You just won't care, because it's like, oh,
the story arc that we've had with Eddie ends like, it's bittersweet, but it is like emotional. It pulls at the heartstrings. That's what made you feel. And I think what works, if the other characters build from that and kind of try and get revenge for all the ones that they've lost, like all like Alexi,
it gives
Billy,
Dustin more of a motivation next season.
100%. You want him to build from that. You don't want him to be like, oh, Eddie's back, yay, and like, well, it's like, okay, fine. Like, don't get me wrong, he's a brilliant character, but it just doesn't feel right to just bring him back.
Yeah, you're right. It would just feel like appeasing the fans.
Yeah, but that's like Eddie, who's like, this is one thing I mentioned earlier as well, that Joseph Quinn, who plays him, has just suddenly become like the biggest guy on the internet right now. One, because everyone's grieving Eddie, but two, they're just absolutely loving him as a person.
I mean, like, I've been watching because of season 4, I've been watching loads of those like random YouTube videos, you know, like, oh, the cast of Stranger Things, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
He's in like 90% of those videos.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, so on their press tour, he must have just had the most packed schedule.
Have you, there's one video of him where what is it? He gets asked the same question 4 times by different journalists, and the question keeps on getting asked. You know, like obviously the song that gets Max out of the Upside Down,
Yeah.
or Escape Vecna, is Running Up That Hill, and each journalist thinks they're being unique by saying, "Oh, if you could choose a song to Escape Vecna, what would yours be?" And he says Up and Down by the Venga Boys in the first answer, in the first interview, and he's like, it's a little joke. And then the second interview comes around and they ask the same question. He's like, well, I've committed now. I said it to the previous guy, it's Up and Down by the Venga Boys. And like the third interview comes out and he looks a little bit defeated. He's like, well, it's Up and Down by the Venga Boys. And then by the fourth one, you just see this dead look in his eyes where he's like, yeah, it's Up and Down by the Venga Boys. It's the funniest compilation because obviously, like, I feel like Joseph Quinn is an actor. Like, I feel like he didn't get Instagram until Stranger Things started. And I feel like is like he's one of those guys that he's a professional actor. He loves to do what he's doing. But any press related stuff, any like digital related stuff, I'm sure he's just like, what do I do here? Like a bit caught off guard. And there's some bits where you can kind of tell that like he's probably like well sound. I've listened to him on a podcast recently with James Acaster and Ed Gamble. And like he seems like such a sound guy. Actually, he's so cool. But,
yeah, from all the like random YouTube videos I've watched of them talking and doing stuff, like he seems like a really nice guy. He does always look a little bit lost.
He does a little bit. I think it's so like obviously he's gone from a very low key actor to being like literally thrown on every like.
Plus, like that's not something you can learn. You know, you just have to experience being on like a press tour.
Yeah,
because like who could ever mentally prepare for that?
Yeah, it's like going from like basically a very low key acting career to basically being like up the top there. It's mad. Yeah. Like you said, you need to adjust to that, and if you're not used to it, you're like, Jesus Christ, this is weird.
Yeah, like although saying that, when when we were like, oh, we're gonna do this episode, rewatching, I was like, it's low hanging fruit, but I did think like, what would be the song that would take me out? Like, what would bring me back? And I actually don't know the answer. Because, like, my favorite song, like, changes.
I like to think it's Deja Vu by Dave Rogers.
some sort of Eurobeat. Yeah, probably. Maybe. Could you imagine? It's like... Oh no, Vecna's gonna get him quick.
Yeah.
Put on gas. I'm gonna step on
I can just imagine you running away from Vecna while gas is
Well, it'd be more appropriate if I said my favorite Eurobeat song was Running in the 90s. There you go. Pun intended.
Wow.
There you go, boy.
Jesus Christ, that is very on the nose. See,
hey, we're low hanging fruit, boy.
Spotify actually did this thing when Volume 2 launched, and they had this little Stranger Things with so it's like your Stranger Things playlist, and it's basically a mix of your like songs mixed with a whole bunch of the songs from Stranger Things season 4. But they also had this little key thing that popped up when I opened the app, and it said, "This is your Vecna Escape song." So that popped up, and I was like, "Oh, I wonder what that is." So, like, I think it's just because it's been on my shuffle loads, because I added it to my playlist recently. But my song, I was like, "This is not the song I'd escape from Vecna to." It was "Bad Habits" by Ed Sheeran, featuring "Bring Me the Horizon." So it's a bit more of a rocky version of the song, and I was just like, "This is okay." Like, I do like this song, but it's not that level. It's not that. This would not be my Vecna Escape song.
Like, I think based off of the previous like Spotify end of the year things, I think if I had to say one, just because it's always there, is probably the beginning. One OK Rock.
Oh, okay,
the last couple of years, it's always been on there, and I'm like, I don't remember listening to that song that much, but apparently I have. So
You don't know what my one
there's
is.
that. What?
Mr. Brightside. Because that's always been my top song for the past couple years on Spotify. And I could just imagine like running away from Vector listening to Mr. Brightside by the Killers. I'd be like, oh shit, go away from this. But I'm also like, I'm coming out of my cage and I've been doing just fine.
Well, it could have been worse though. Like, could you imagine it's like, well, what's your number one song? Something off the cheesy hits
Scatman
playlist.
John.
Or just like, oh, YMCA. Like, could you imagine just anything off
Young
of like
man,
a cheesy hits playlist?
you're in the upside down. I said, young man, you gotta get out around. You just escape now. You gotta run away from Vecna. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh no.
Yeah, but like at least it's like somewhat okay songs, you know. It could have been way worse.
Yeah, so true. Just like I feel like we should like wrap up our little discussion here in season 4. There's one thing I wanted to mention because like you mentioned Hopper earlier. And obviously with the whole of season 4, like it splits into 4 strands, right? So you've got 11's story where she's like recalling her past and stuff like that.
And gaining her powers,
And gaining the powers. And you've got Mike, Will, and Jonathan driving around, and Argyle, just like escaping the fucking military and just driving around the pizza van. You've got Russia, which is Joyce and Murray, go save Hopper, and obviously you've got Hawkins, which is like your Hellfire clubs saving Eddie and trying to like defeat Vecna. I think like there's 3 good strands in that, right? The strand that I probably dislike the most is probably the Will, Jonathan, Mike one.
Yeah,
because
I agree. It felt very just unnecessary.
There.
Well, not unnecessary, but it was just, I get that why it was there, but it didn't feel like it needed so much focus.
Absolutely not. It's like them going to collect 11 and then they collect 11. Like you could sum that up so quickly. Like it's just,
it was like a road trip, but one you
Yeah.
didn't really care about.
With 11's strand, funny enough, like I know I said that like that I love the twist in episode 7 where it turns out that
I think I'm about to agree with you though.
but like up until that point, it was really slow.
Yeah, that was dragging.
That was Then like, I remember watching it with one of my mates, and like we were just like, this is like one of the most boring strands right now because it just feels like it's training, and it's just like it's dragging on a bit, and then that twist came around, and it all kind of clicked together, so it redeems itself with that, I believe. The Hopper, Murray, and Joyce thing was absolutely. I love that strand. That was so good.
Yeah, that was wicked, especially like fucking Murray
doing the karate. Fucking
mate.
hell. One of the best moments. It's so underrated in this whole season because obviously everyone's talking about Eddie, they're talking about all this other stuff.
Yeah, and no one talks about Murray, who has been doing karate lessons with teenagers and kids, right? All of a sudden, it actually works, and he beats Yuri in the plane.
I absolutely love Murray as a character. I think he's like he's one of those like underrated ones right now. No one really talks about him that much, but he's so fucking good.
Murray is such a great character.
Yeah. But yeah, my favorite strand from this whole season though, like 11 stuff was great, but I absolutely loved the Hawkins segments.
I mean, how do you not though? That's like the main. I feel like that's the main part. Yeah, really. Absolutely. It's because they're the ones actually dealing with everything that's going on, and they're trying to save their home. Not saying that no one else is, but like, Mike and them are just trying to get 11. 11's trying to get her powers back so that she can help everyone else. But like the rest of them are so far away from the actual like ground zero danger zone.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you've got like, what was it, Robin and Nancy trying to research into Vecna somehow. You've got like, and like people trying to protect Eddie, and then you've got
Max like trying to console everybody, and like
fucking Lucas trying to run away from the like jocks, which are just turned into psychos, and it's like Jesus Christ.
The thing is, right? I didn't like the jocks, and like that's intentional.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But like The other guys were just way too willing to just go and bust up a bunch of shit and beat bunch of people up.
The whole village was, weren't it? Like they literally from
I mean, yeah,
one speech from this. Is it Jacob or Joe? What was his name? Joseph?
Jason, I think it was.
Jason, some sort of J name.
Yeah,
But yeah, like obviously he's such a minor villain in the whole wider scheme of things, but he plays a really unlikable
dude,
one,
I tell you, the
and
biggest
really well.
villain is one of his teammates. You know, the guy with the like the curly hair, like sort of fro with the cap.
Oh yeah. Oh god,
That
yeah.
guy is the true villain of that group, because straight away when he's like, that freak Eddie did something to Chris, he killed her. That guy was straight up ready,
Yeah.
like, yeah, let's fucking bust some
Way
heads.
too willing, way
And
too
then like, yeah,
willing.
way too eager, right? And you know when Lucas is like, whoa, D&D's just a game, and he like faces up to him and he's like, how do you know that? Huh? You tell us how you know that. And he's like ready to beat the shit out of him, and you're just like, you're too eager to cause a bunch of chaos. You're the real villain here.
It is just it's fucking mad. But yeah, like this is one thing I'll say as well, like off of what you're saying about Lucas. I think he's like season 3, he felt very absent from the whole thing. Like he didn't get
Yeah.
any story in season 3. Like his sister got a lot of it. Don't get me wrong, his sister is good, but like I feel like very similar vibes to Argyle in the fact that she's very one note. Yeah. Great character, but not my favorite. But like Lucas in this season, however, like has so much character development.
He's an incredibly relatable character
Yeah.
this season as well, because it's him trying to reinvent himself and be someone he's not, but then still trying to stay true to his friends and who he really is. And I feel like that's like way too relatable.
And meanwhile, he's like, obviously still like caring for Max and stuff. Like he really cares about her, but like he's done like I think it's the best character development he's had in the whole series.
Yeah,
and that's good to see.
Because before he just felt kind of like he was just sort of there, you know, like, oh, things take place and all the kids have to do stuff. And Lucas is also part of the kids.
Yeah, because Dustin was like the funny one with Steve. Will was the one that's always missing and possessed by people.
Yeah, Eleven's the superhero. Mike is like the main character, kind of.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. But yeah, like, yeah, that whole Hawkins strand basically was just sick. Love that. Like, so many good characters in it, so much character development. And this is why I think that season 4 has been the best one. It delves more into the horror side as well. Like, I don't know if you felt the same way.
Yeah. But I feel like that's also because it's like they know this is the second to last. So like they're probably upping the ante and like getting a lot of stuff done because, well, you've only got one more season.
Really, really excited to see what happens in this next season.
I know, right? Like that's always the thing with Stranger Things. I got into Stranger Things in season 3 because you and a friend were like telling me to watch this for ages. And then, so I binge watched all the way from 1 to 3. And then as soon as I finished 3, I was like, when's 4 coming out? And I feel like that's always the thing with Netflix.
Yeah.
You binge watch it. And then you're like, so when's the next one? And they're like, yeah, but we took X amount of time to make this one. Yeah, but like, I just finished it. So like, next one, please.
Yeah, soon as. Okay.
Yeah.
Off like another like final point. What was it? Obviously, this is all released in one go, apart from volume 1 and 2, which they split. But do you prefer Netflix series, like, or would you prefer it if they released this weekly, or would you prefer the whole bulk thing?
I find just because that's the way they like conditioned us to be, is that Netflix kind of have put themselves in a corner. It's almost always been a binge watch thing because they always just drop it.
Yeah.
The whole thing. And they've tried to do some like weekly, like I used to watch Better Call Saul and that actually used to be weekly and I'd forget to watch it.
That's
because
thing,
I don't think to come back to Netflix once a week. So with Netflix, I don't do anything but binge watch.
Yeah.
Because that's just how Netflix has always been to me.
I feel that's the thing with their bigger series now. I feel like they, like you said, they've backed themselves into a corner, and I've come to expect if Netflix are bringing out a new series, I expect it to be in block.
Exactly,
now.
Right? If it's not all there, then you're like, I'll come back when it is or whatever. But then by that point, you've forgotten that this thing came out, right? So you always end up just forgetting. It's like with JoJo Part 6 on Netflix, Part 1 came out. We're waiting for Part 2. If I don't keep up with the news, I'll even forget that Part 2 was meant to come out.
Honestly, like, I think this is a problem that I have. I think a lot of people had with Netflix's handling of JoJo's. I know we're going into anime right now, but like, this is the thing. Everyone's saying that this should have been a weekly release for JoJo and not a bulk.
I mean, that's what they originally were going to do, but I think they still sort of bulked under what they realized they were.
Yeah.
And tried to give you something to binge watch. It's the problem from the past, isn't it? Like,
but like you said, I agree with you. Like, that I prefer this binge watching wise, because like you're right. I will like, when it comes to series like this, I'll forget that an episode's out on a certain day, or I'll have certain plans on a day, and like, I just forget this episode's out, and then I end up doubling up on the week or the week after, or I just end up like wait until the season's finished and then just binge watching them all anyway.
And to be fair, something like Stranger Things, I think works better as a binge watch. Because like, you can keep following the threads episode to episode. If it was week to week, chances are you're going to forget something, and it'll be like, you'll watch and then you'll feel like you have to rewatch because at some point something happened in a later episode, but you watched the episodes before that like 3 weeks ago, and now you're like, what happened there?
Yeah, you're relying on recaps at that point.
Yeah, your chances are, especially the modern day, like, you might not even rewatch those episodes that you watched before. You might just end up Googling it, like a wiki or something.
God, I don't like that. Yeah, that's dangerous for me. I'm not a massive fan of doing that. But
yeah, I'm not a fan of doing that either. But you know what I mean? Like, that's sort of how people would end up doing it, and then that ends up hurting Netflix in the long run, because then it's like, people aren't watching our stuff as much. Yeah, business.
But yeah, it's tough. Like, it's finding the right balance with that. But yeah. But overall, Stranger Things, like, yeah, we both agree, best season so far.
Yeah,
absolutely,
easily.
Yeah. So I don't know when season 5 will come out. It probably will be like 2025 at this point.
Bro, yeah, probably Netflix don't even know.
Nah, depends. As I said, I don't think they've even started writing it yet. So no. But well, the Duffer Brothers had confirmed they'd love to do a spin-off series as well. With other characters.
I did see something about a spin-off series, so
it depends what characters there'd be. I think there's some great characters in there. So,
well, I mean, like, I just don't want the Duffer Brothers to bite off more than they can handle. You know, they're doing live action Death Note, so
yeah,
one thing at a time.
Exactly that. So who knows what's going on? But yeah, is there anything else you have to say, Nathan?
Go and watch season 4. I mean, if this whole episode isn't just an advertisement for that.
Yeah. But go rewatch season 4. Hopefully, if you've watched this episode and not watched season 4, I feel so sorry for you.
Or like, if you haven't seen it, sorry, we just spoiled it all for you. I don't know why you listened to the whole thing anyway.
Yeah, especially with all the spoiler warnings we've given.
Yeah, like,
imagine
but
that. Yeah, like,
just if you've already seen Stranger Things, go and watch season 4. Or rewatch it. If you haven't ever gotten to Stranger Things yet, and for some reason you're at the end of this episode, go and watch Stranger Things.
Imagine if you've never watched Stranger Things before and listened to this episode, you'd be like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Look, right, you can't discount that someone on the internet just decided to listen to this, or watch. You know, like, get into this episode for whatever reason and has never seen Stranger Things before. The world is a strange place. Everything is possible. I'm just trying to cover all the bases.
I'm just imagining now there's someone that's like kind of fallen asleep listening to stuff, and they've woken up randomly, and they've never watched Stranger Things before, but they somehow discovered this podcast, and they're like, "Who are these people? What are they talking about? What the hell is going? Where does this come from?"
Now I know what season 4 is.
Right. And on that note, thank you for listening, guys. Remember to check us out on all podcast platforms. The links are in the description. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. And we'll see you next time. Catch you later. Bye.
Bye.